What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and today we're here to talk about what could be the biggest comic release of 2025. That's right, next year. What's so important happening now that it matters for next year? That's exactly what I'm going to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. Let's go. Be sure to check the description for links to fantastic resources in this amazing hobby like Big Time Collectibles, online retailer, Justin Comics cleaning and pressing and submission services, as well as ABX Comics and Games. If you don't have a comic shop to get books from, to set up a pool list from, or to do any tabletop gaming type activities, ABX Comics and Games is my local comic shop, who's the community's comic shop. They can be your long distance comic shop. So be sure to check that out if you need any help getting a hold of any book. So today we are talking about a very important book, and we're talking about it today because it releases next week. And let me check the actual date because it's going to be important. Yeah, November 27th is its shelf date. That's when it's going to be available for you to go to the store, pick it up, grab it. So we're going to talk about it now so you don't miss out the opportunity then. And that's none other than the upcoming Justice League Unlimited, issue number 1 from DC's all-in era that we're in right this minute. But like I always like to do before we go forward talking about something, it's always fun to look back. So Justice League of America is your primary team in the DC Comics universe, first premiering in Brave and the Bold in 1959. They rock and rolled, had TV shows, cartoons, comics, nonstop until 2022 on April 26th, when DC Comics decided to kill them off. And as everyone expected, it didn't necessarily last too long, because just a few months later in December, they returned during Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. But they returned in a different type of way. They didn't just come back and just start rocking and rolling. What they did was they returned from the dead and decided that they were not going to reform as a team. And for this time era, this dawn of DC time era, the Teen Titans were kind of like your premier team. They dropped the teens, they went by Titans, and Superman was around, Batman was around, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern. All these characters were around, just doing their own things in their respected books with their respected families. The Titans had it handled until they didn't during this most recent event, Absolute Power, when Amanda Waller took things to the ultimate max there. The Justice League decided that we have to get back together. We have to come back together like butt cheeks. So they did. They reformed. We saw them reform in the DC All-In Special one-shot that I covered a couple weeks ago. Check that video out. Very important. But now that they're reformed, they're getting together, and the book is finally dropping, and it's going to be dropping on November 27th. Mark Waid is writing it. Dan Moore is doing the art, and this is going to be important for numerous different reasons. But first, let's take a look at the synopsis, because there's a lot of clues in there. But the Watchtower rises. The Justice League is back and bigger than ever. In the wake of Absolute Power and the DC All-In Special, Darkseid's death has triggered a massive power vacuum in the DCU. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman must unite like never before and expand the Justice League to encompass every hero championing the forces of good in the face of incredible evil. As our heroes work together to uncover the mystery of the Dark Lord's successor, Ray Palmer, Atom Project triggers a race between hero and villain to control the fate of metahuman abilities on Earth, which threatens to destroy everything the League has built. Worlds will live, worlds will die, and a surprise is waiting in store on the last page. So it sounds like there's a lot going on there. Most notably, and it's kind of insinuated with the name Justice League Unlimited, this is not just a standard 7-man team. Every character in the DCU has been offered an invitation to the Justice League. So this book is going to have somewhat of a rotating roster by nature, hence the name Justice League Unlimited. That's a little homage to the animated show with the same concept. You never know who's going to be there. Also, with DC events kind of not having anything on the horizon, we from the dawn of DC to this current All-In, we've had events happening often, from the Lazarus Planet, Night Terrors, Absolute Power, Beast World. There's been a lot of them. There's nothing slated on the horizon, nothing that we're building toward, and it's looking like this Justice League Unlimited is set to be the backbone of DC's continuity right now, which is a jump-on point across the board. Whenever you see that All-In, know that you're at the beginning right now. So naturally, there's going to be all kinds of fantastic covers to choose from. Check out that Jim Lee one. Beautiful. But during this All-In era, you're going to see a lot of titles with this matching cover format, all white logo. And this is a great example of why the Justice League book is so important. In Black Lightning's brand new issue #1 title, it's kind of spinning out of the pages of Justice League Unlimited. So he's tasked with the Justice League of kind of being superhero relations and metahuman relations, and that's kind of where his story is going to branch out from. It was already mentioned in the synopsis for Justice League that the Atom Project, you're going to see Captain Atom as well as Ray Palmer and Frank Cho. Atom go out and try to restore some of the upset powers from Absolute Power. Everybody lost their abilities. Amanda Waller drained the DCU of its power, and when everyone got their powers back, some things were cattywampus. Some people don't have their powers. Some people's powers are flip-flop. So the Atom Project is going to be exploring how they're going to kind of get things back to the status quo. Also, Aquaman #1 will be starting in January, and Mira and Aquaman's powers at the start of that series will be cattywampus. It's all bridging out of the Justice League Unlimited. And lastly, this one will be dropping the same week as the Justice League title, and that's The Question All Along the Watchtower. Renee Montoya, The Question, is tasked with being the security officer of the Justice League Watchtower. You know, the place that's floating in space where people can't breathe, the place that like has Superman and Green Lantern and Wonder Woman and all these like cosmic gods, basically, where they come to hang out and meet up with their friends. They got The Question running security there. Like, leave me a comment. Let me know if that makes any sense to you. I like The Question. I'm a big Vic Sage fan. Renee Montoya is perfectly fun. I just don't understand how you'd ask her to be your security. Like, that's not fair. But needless to say, I believe this is a mini series meant to be, she's investigating some kind of murder from the Watchtower on the Watchtower, and we're going to have to see where it goes from there. But I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm not going to skip a question book. But needless to say, the Justice League Unlimited title is going to be sending stories to different comics for a while, and who knows what's going to come back to it. It's our ensemble book. It's where the big things are happening, and we don't even know what the big tease is on the last page yet. So in the absence of all these events, because maybe DC, listen, maybe they heard the number of people that are said, I'm tired of events. I don't want an event. I don't want to do an event. And they're like, fine, we won't do an event. We'll just get our continuity tight. We'll tell grand scale stories just in our regular books. And the Justice League title can be what it's always meant to be. When something is too big for any one character, the Justice League is there for it. And that's going to be the same thing with this writing format, it seems. When a story is too big for any individual title, that's what the Justice League book is for. So be sure to check it out. Don't miss out on it. It's coming fast. A lot of great covers, and I'll be talking about it right here on this channel after it gets out. So be sure to, after you read it, to come back and let's discuss it. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that join button, become a channel member. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.